Hello and welcome to the Crochet Cakes YouTube channel. My name is Elizabeth and I am your crafty host for each and every podcast episode as well as every video tutorial that you find on this channel. It's been quite a while since we last sat down to have a little project catch up, so I thought that's what we would do today. And no, don't worry, I am not ignoring your pleas or your request for a crafty room tour. It is just that I am in the midst of designing, so it is a mess. And while I have to confess that my craft room is usually a mess, I would like to share with you its potential and not its chaos, if that makes any sense. Pause for noisy motorcycle to go by. So yes, I hope that you've been doing well. I recently got back from visiting my brother and my family in Alabama. It's just my brother that lives there, but my sister went down and I flew up to Alabama, and there we met Mom and my nephew. So there really wasn't much recording but there was crafting going on. And one of those projects that I'm going to share with you is actually what I cast on the flight, and I mostly worked on this on the flights. Now, when you fly from Melbourne to Huntsville, it's a very short flight. Like, what makes it longer is the amount of wait time in the airports and all that, but truly you're just on the air for like 2 hours at most. So I cast on socks because they had been calling my name. It's been quite a while since there were any socks on my hook or on my needle. This time we have socks on my needles. And these, if you watch my Japan yarn haul video, which I will link in the iCard for you and in the description box below. Incidentally, in the description box is where you can find links to everything that I talk about. So this is my Regia Colors of the World, which I bought at one of the yarn stores that I visited in Osaka. And it's kind of a very earthy colorway. We've got different tones of blues, browns, some creams, some oatmeal-y colors. And I absolutely love working with Regia because the self-patterning, it's so satisfying. And if you notice, I am once again using my 9-inch circular needles, which I had missed. I had to stop using them because my tendonitis was really acting up ages ago, so I had to switch to magic loop. But honestly, my preferred method of working up socks is by using 9-inch circulars. Now, you might say, is this a really long sock or are you knitting a tube? I am knitting a tube, and the reason for that is that I, as of the video that I will link here in the description box below, because I don't remember when I uploaded it, pretty sure it was like a year or so ago. As of that time, I have been knitting tubes and crocheting heels. Also, I've been meaning to do an updated crochet heel in a knit sock tutorial because I realized that I was using black yarn, so you probably couldn't really tell what I was doing. But I digress. Going back to this beautiful sock, Colors of the World, these are a pair of shorty socks for my husband. I'm gonna have him try them on to see if I can work up the toe already, because when I add an afterthought crochet heel, that adds about 1.5 inches to the length of the sock. So important that I start my toe 1.5 inches before. Or, you know, thereabouts, because knitting doesn't really stretch this way. It stretches more this way, so width-wise. And also, I'm really loving this yarn. This is Regia's cotton yarn blends, which I love. And they're especially good for a pair of shorty socks for the summer. When we went to our trip to Japan, my husband wore his handmade socks every day, and he deserves another pair. And it's not about deserves. I just know he really enjoys hand knit socks. And where were we? I don't rightly remember, because every time I sit down to record a video for you guys, my allergies just get bad. So, supposing I finished talking about the knit socks, let's move on to other projects that I've been working on. Am I forgetting something? Probably, but we're moving on. So First things first, I've been working on it, but it's already finished, sort of. I haven't woven in the ends. I did post a reel about weaving in ends this week. Today's Thursday, so I did it yesterday, but I did not finish weaving in the ends on the last Nubes top. And if you can see, I'm holding it to my left. The last Nubes top is a bottom up reverse raglan blouse, and it was my first ever design, so it was due for a tune-up, and I am glad that I received yarn help from my friends over at We Crochet to crochet this beauty up for you. Now, I did size 1. There should be a video tutorial out now for the first 10 rounds of the top. All the other video tutorials are included in the paid for PDF, which you can purchase via Ravelry. And that's just because I find Ravelry much easier to update if there is any mistake in the pattern, or if I want to add something a little extra, I can just send an email. Ravelry automatically lets you know, and you can download the updated version. Whereas in Etsy, I'd have to manually message everybody, and that's just not really doable. So in any case, I am glad to bring you the last Nubes top. I crocheted size 1 for this, and that gives me about 4 inches of negative ease around the bust. And I don't find that uncomfortable because the more we wash this garment, the more ease we get. It's not significant to really affect the gauge that much, but it is significant in the terms of comfort and length. It's obviously going to stretch more lengthwise than it does widthwise. If you would like to crochet this pattern, I will link the free version that you can view on my blog in the description box below, and I will also link the paid for PDF on Ravelry. So that is the last Nubes top. Oh, should probably mention, I crocheted it using Chroma fingering, which is a fingering weight yarn from We Crochet. It is a single ply wool nylon blend. So it works up slow if you're used to working with worsted weight garments, but I really like it. You also need 3 different hook sizes. You need a 4.5, a 3.75, and a 3.5. And of course, please remember that any changes that you make to the width, length, hook size of the pattern will affect your gauge, and they will most likely affect the amount of yarn that you need to complete this garment, because all yarn quantities needed are calculated based on my gauge. And just in case, I do include the hook brand that I use, so that's also helpful because we all know that our gauge changes based on our hooks, right? So I used tulip crochet hooks for this one. And that is not the only finished item that I have to share with you today. So once again, I have had to pause because my camera ran out of battery, and honestly, I think I just charged it enough to be able to record this next bit. It's not fully charged, so I might run out of battery again, but we'll deal with it when that happens. So the next thing that I want to share with you is another finished item. This time, it is my second entry into the Celebration Crochet Along, which is a crochet along that I've been hosting where you pick any, and I mean any, Crochet Cakes pattern. It can be a video tutorial, it can be a pattern that I've had published in a magazine. Wherever you find a Crochet Cakes pattern, you may be able to use it to enter into the Celebration Crochet Along. There's a Ravelry thread for it, and it runs until the 1st of May. So if you crochet a pair of socks, you still have time to enter. If you would like to leave the cal with a finished item, it is not required. I will link the Ravelry thread, as I said, in the description box below, or you can also use the hashtag Celebration Crochet Along. Now, I don't know who has used the hashtag, because every time I check it, it comes up empty. So I don't know if that's nobody's used the hashtag or if that's just Instagram doing its thing. But thank you to Sylvia and Mine and Muse Crafts. You've been chatty on the Ravelry thread, and I've loved seeing your progress and also seeing your reasons for celebrating, because while the idea behind this cowl was to celebrate my birthday with you guys, you can celebrate whatever you wish. And for this recent make, I am celebrating the fact that I have a whip out of hibernation. It is complete and I have a new garment, as well as celebrating the fact that I also double dipped this into the F Winter Mal, which was hosted by Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy. So this is a third complete Vintage Waves top, or Vintage Waves sweater, which is what I actually called it, I think. So it is currently inside out. You can see all the ends have not been woven in. It came out yesterday in a reel, me weaving in the ends, but I just honestly never finished that, which I do need to do because I want to take some finished object photos with this top, and honestly this top just screams summer. So this again is size 1 of the Vintage Waves sweater, and what can I tell you about it? I used 2 different wool colorways. They were both a sport weight, but they had their differences. So the top one, which is a mixture of teals and greens and blends very well with the tealy blue cotton yarn that I chose as my main color, that one was just like applied, but then the bottom one that I chose is a very high twist ply, so it felt a lot bouncier than the top one, and it also gave me a different gauge, just slightly, enough so that I did not want to do decreases for the waist, which I was considering doing. Now, another thing that I considered with this one is turning it into a dress, but I honestly do not think, I need to calculate with the gauge obviously, but I don't think I have enough yarn to do a dress. I would just do kind of a pinafore style dress, so still tight, close to the body, not like I did for the last year's birthday, which I crocheted a very bouncy, flouncy dress. No, I definitely would not have enough yarn for that. But this is the Vintage Waves sweater. If this is the first time seeing the sweater, then I will link the pattern in the description box below for you guys. And I'm also very excited to share this one because Sandra of Cherry Heart tagged me that she's making this sweater, and I love it when you guys tag me that you're working on the projects. The colorway she chose was beautiful. So if you've worked this pattern before, do let me know. If you are active on Instagram, then tag me on Instagram. I would definitely love to see it. And of course you can upload your project on Ravelry and I get to look at it, and then if you let me, I get to put the picture on the Ravelry project page. So that is the Vintage Waves sweater, which, as I said, was the second entry of mine to the celebration crochet along. And behind me there, you can definitely see the bloom top. Now, the bloom top is a pattern that I had previously released with Radical Threads magazine. The yarn that I used, I believe the dyer no longer uses this base, which was a very thin cotton yarn. So I decided to, again, contact my friends over at We Crochet and then very kindly sent the yarn over. We had done a poll where you said, where I asked you, whether or not you thought I should add embroidery to the top, if you thought that would look nice or not. So I'm gonna bring the crochet closer, or actually, no, I'm gonna do a separate little close-up video that I'm inserting here for you guys to see. But I was playing around with the embroidery yesterday, and I think that I'm actually gonna do the embroidery on the shoulders, just the shoulders. I think it'll look really cute with the woven wheel stitch. So there is that. Now, as for works in progress, as I said, I'm working on the Home Cafe collection, which you guys had voted on last year on Instagram, that you would like to see a teapot cozy, coasters, an apron, and possibly a kitchen towel. So the apron is giving me a little bit of trouble because I wanted a fabric that wasn't holey, so that you would actually, you know, have a full coverage apron and you wouldn't be worried about getting stains through the apron onto your clothes. But in order to do that, I was using a very small hook, and I realized that probably that is not something that's going to appeal to everyone. The fabric itself was beautiful, so I decided to use that fabric that I had created to crochet the kitchen towel and then play around with the hook sizes and the fingering weight yarn, because it does use fingering weight yarn. That was another thing. I didn't want a very bulky fabric for the apron, because if I did end up with some holes, I wanted to be able to sew a lining to it that was very thin and wouldn't add heat when you're in front of the stove. So I'm working on that. I don't want to share any spoilers yet, but if you are part of my newsletter, then I might be releasing a picture of the coaster this weekend. So if you want to get a little sneaky peek, then you can subscribe to my newsletter. I will leave the direct link to subscribe to my newsletter in the description box below as well. The other project that I was working on before I left to Alabama was the Birthday Bellini Bralette by Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy. This is a tutorial series that she only made available to her Ko-fi subscribers. So if you subscribe to her Ko-fi, you would have access to these videos. But it is a bralette, and I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about, not the pattern, but the yarn that I chose. It feels very raffia-esque, and the yarn that I chose is a blend of cotton and silk that I purchased in Japan. It is a 40-gram ball of yarn, and it was classified, you know, probably a sport weight, just because, as you can see, it stitches very, very open, and it really feels like raffia. The texture is interesting. I haven't actually blocked it, so I don't know if it's gonna soften up or anything like that yet, but I will definitely let you guys know once I finish crocheting with it. But using a 3mm hook, and the 3mm hook that I am using is the new dots hook that I got from We Crochet. I was thinking of doing a review for these hooks, but I didn't think the review would be fair, because it's going to be definitely a review of the hooks that I received, because I doubt this is something that happens on every pack of We Crochet hooks, dot hooks. And that is that the hook that I received on the 3mm hook, there is a cut on the hook part itself. Now, luckily, that hasn't really affected my crochet with this yarn, but I would have to try it with any other yarn to see if that, it's got like a piece gouged out essentially, which was, you know, probably in the polishing and the shaping of the hook, there was mistakenly nicked off. But I would have to try it with other yarns to see if it's going to catch and affect the way that I crochet. So that would make me very, very sad. And again, that would probably just be something that happened to me. So I'm not sure if I should do a review, but I definitely do want to talk about them, because there are things I do love about these hooks. So that is the projects I'm working on, barring the knit vest or pullover that I was working on for Mom, which I have not touched. And I kind of don't want to knit on it because I don't remember where I left off. I'm pretty sure I had written it in one of my notebooks and I just can't find that note. So that does mean that I'm gonna have to read my pattern, which, oh, ouch, ouch. But that is all that I've been working on, barring any work crochet. As I said, I do have ideas for some video tutorials that I want to share with you guys. One is definitely the stitch that we're going to be using to crochet the bloom top, which is the falling leaves stitch. So that is a tutorial that I'm planning on filming soon. And of course, I owe you guys a craft room tour, so there's also that. And in addition to that, I did want to do a bralette tutorial. So last year, around this time, I think, I crocheted a bralette, and it was just going to be a sample for me to see how I would want to design a bralette and if I felt confident enough working in lots of negative ease to actually crochet this bralette. I tried about 3 different methods that I didn't like, and I finally found methods that I did like. But of course, with any mock-up, yeah, muslin, you know the thing, you trial, with any trial shape, there are some things that I would like to fix. So I was planning on crocheting another version, and while I crochet this version, also do the tutorial for the changes that I want to be implementing. Now, I kind of think that I should work the bralette with the new changes up first and then do the tutorial for the pieces that I think you'll find most difficult, because this bralette will be entirely based on your measurements, and I am just thinking of releasing it as a video tutorial to show you how I worked it up, how I shaped it, all that jazz. So those are things that are coming along in the pipeline of the Crochet Cakes YouTube channel. I do have a list of projects that I still want to work up, and I just want to get my butt in gear and do it and give it my all and not be consumed by all the negative thoughts that kind of releasing anything out into the world tends to give me. Or you, I don't know. Do you also get that? Like anytime you're gonna release something out into the world or just venture forth into an area of creativity, it's like, should I really? So that is it from me today. I hope that you enjoyed this little catch up of what projects I have on the go. I know that most of them that you saw are patterns that I'm working on. So if you were looking for new crochet patterns that you perhaps hadn't heard about, I apologize. I am not working anyone's patterns right now except for that birthday Bellini bralette from Knitting Tipsy, from Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy. And I also have another pattern that I do want to cast on from her, which is a knit pattern, and it's a cardigan, and I really, really want to make it. So time, again, I just need to get my butt in gear and just work so I can get it all out. Oh, also, I am planning another thrift flip video. So let me know in the comments below if that is something that you'd be interested in. And again, that would be a thrift flip video. I've done other thrift flip videos before, so I will leave them linked here for you guys in case you're interested. Probably in the end screen. They'll appear in the end screen if you're interested. And yeah, I don't know. I always have crochet on the brain. It's a crochet lifestyle for me, guys. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope that I've kept you company, that you've been able to relax a little bit. Definitely, I hope you got some crochet in, and let me know what you're drinking. I wasn't drinking anything today, but I feel like I need some water right now. So I'm gonna go pour myself a glass of very healthy water, and I will meet you here in the Crochet Cakes YouTube channel with a new video pretty soon. So happy crafting and goodbye.